So if you are following the last video, in the last video, we have seen like how we can create employee with the single to multiple entity, right? This was the scenario. Like if you can see the UI, like whenever we have form where employee is getting registered. So a scenario is like employee information is single, but his relatives can be multiple, right? So let's say Sachin, let's enter dummy mobile number, email ID, city, state, right? And the designation something, right? This is the employee information, but his relatives are going to be multiple, right? So multiple relatives we can add from here, right? Like this. Whatever the things you need to add, like yes, we can add this. And the same record, we can save it also on click of save employee. So employee created success. This is with the API. Now, the next part is we have to show the list of the employee, edit, update, and the delete one, right? So let me just show you the API. So get all employee, this is the API which we have to integrate to show the data inside the table. So let's just execute and see whatever the records we can see. Just now, if you remember, we have created Sachin record. So let's see if it is there or not. At the end, you can see the record is visible. Now, in this component only, I will toggle the UI for the list and the form also. So here, this is the row responsible for for creating the form, right? So just like this, I will create one more row. And inside this, I will create table. Table. Let's add some class. Table. Bordered. Then we need th. Head as inside that tr. And we need th, right? So th, like how many headings we need, that much th we can just copy paste. So let's say how much data we are getting from the Gate API. So we are getting name, contact number, email, city. Just some information we can show. It is not mandatory that whatever the information you get from the Gate API, all you need to show. Name, contact, city, and designation we can show. And we are going to need an action button, action column, where we are going to have add and the delete button. So the column name I'm giving as action, right? Now what we are going to do, let me just show you how the UI will look like. So currently you can see we have a form and below that form we have the table. But how we have to do, let's say here we can have a button list. If we click on the list, only table will be visible. If we click on the new employee, only form will be visible. So we just have to toggle the UI. So for that, let's create a variable which will decide like which view we have to display. Let square bracket is new view. Set is new view. Use state. Let's initialize with, let's say, false, means by default, list will be visible. So let's create the method also, constant change view, round bracket, curly bracket. Right. In this variable, we are going to just vice versa the variable value being because it is a Boolean value. So we can just vice versa. So not of false means not of this variable. So whatever the value we have, that will be just it will, this logic is nothing but a toggle. If the value is true, false we are setting. If it is false, true we are setting. Now this function we have to call on the button click. So this row is for the new, right? So here I'm creating one button in the table card header. right? So here on click, this function we will call, and here we can display the, let's say list button, we will display it over here. And just like this, in the second also we need the card and everything. So we need the card and everything. So let's design card over here. So class card. Let me just design the UI. Card header, BG primary. Right. Let's copy paste the same structure we are going to need. And here the title will be employee list. Let me just complete the design, then you will get the idea. New employee, same function we will call. Right after the card header, we are going to need card body. And inside the card body, we will have the table. Let's copy, let's paste it over here. Let's format it back. Let's check it now. So now you can see we have the structure like, but at a time only at least a form will be visible. Otherwise this card will be visible, right? So for that we can make use of this variable. If this variable is true, means is new is true, then this div will be visible. So and this whole structure will go over here, right? And just like that, the opposite condition to this, if this variable is false, with not, and then this row will be over here. Let's just format it again and let's save and check now. Now you will understand what we have did. Now, so by default, you can see employee list is visible. If I click on new employee, see, again, if I click on the list, it is going back. So within a single component, we have shown the list also and the form also, right? Now, let's just add a same color because here color is something else. BG primary. Same class, we can add it over here also. Let's just test one more time. Right, so now you can see it is looking proper. Let's use success button with primary. Because at the top we have the same blue color, so it is mixing. Right, now it is proper. Just in the list view, we need some padding where it was pt2. Right, so now you can see it is visible. Now here we have to display the list we get from this API, right? So this is my API. So let's copy this. Now we have to create a function just like this. Constant get all employee. The name you can give anything, but name should be descriptive enough. So that's why in this function we are going to make an API call. So that's why async I'm adding. Now const result await exois dot get. For the get, we just need to pass a URL, right? So only one parameter is required. Now, whatever the response we get, that we need to store into a variable. So now, again, we are going to need one more state variable where we are going to store the employee list. Emp list. Set emp list method name. Use state, and let's initialize that with empty array like this. Whatever the data we get, that we are going to store in this variable. So here, set variable, and the data you get is in the data property, data. Right? Now, This function we have to call on the page load. Means once the page load, once the component render, we need to make the API call. So we have to use the use effect hook. Use effect hook we have to use. So use effect get called after every change detection. Means whenever any value got changed or unmount and everything, right? So we have to pass empty dependency. So it will call only once. And here we need to call this function, right? So on the page load, this API, this function will get called. And from this function, we are making the API call. Whatever the data we get from this API call, we are storing into this variable employee list state. And this we have to iterate over the tr. So after t head, we need t body. And in t body, we have to iterate dot map item colon index. We are going to need the serial number. So that's why we have to take the index return. And inside return, what we have to return? The tr. Right? So inside that TD, in first TD, we have to show the index. Index will start from 0, so just increment it by 1. Then TD, and then we have to show the data. So item, the data is going to be array of object, right? So item.name, let's check the properties. Name, contact number. Always try to copy paste it. Don't try to write it blindly. Item dot contact number. What else is there? Designation and the city. Designation and the city. State and everything is also coming. Email ID, pin code is also coming, but it is up to you what data you want to show. It is not mandatory that whatever the data you get, you need to display it, right? And one more TD. Here we will have the button. So let's just create the button also so that we will have proper UI ready. This will be, let's say, edit button. Just like that, we will need delete button as well. So delete button, danger color. Right. So let's just save all and let's check if it is properly visible. Something is breaking. Let's see. Index is not defined. Why? Okay, spelling mistake is there. So on the page load, you will see one API, right? So get all employee data API call is there. And in the response, we are going to get the data into data. So whatever the data we got, that is visible over here, right? You can see the same data is visible over here, whatever we have created. So currently we have 11 record. Let's try to create one more. Aditya, let's enter dummy mobile number. Aditya@gmail.com, or let's add a dummy only so that YouTube doesn't remove my video. Mumbai, Maharashtra pin code, and designation as a junior developer. Let's enter his relative. Let's say Sarika, age, sister. Let's say he has a one sister. Manoj, let's say it's his father. On click of add. So now you can see we are going to create an employee with the name Aditya and he's having 2 family members. So let's click on save. Employee creation succeed. Now I have to, now one more thing you have to do. Once you save the employee, you need to again make the API call to load the latest employee. So that you can do. So this function you just need to call once it is successful, right? So once we receive, like if we, API call is success, means employees created success, then we will call this API. Again, it will fetch the latest employee, right? Let's go to the list. And you can see the Aditya record is visible over here. Now, so creation is done. List also we have shown. Now, next thing we have to do is edit, right? Now, on click of edit, we have to call another API that will be get employee by ID. Here we have to pass the ID of that employee and then it will return the object and the family members array also, right? So let's just try it out. and just get the URL. So let's copy. Now, just like this, we have to create one more function, constant get employee by ID async, again because we are going to make an API call. And this function is going to have a parameter because once we click on the edit button, we have to pass the ID also. So we need to catch it. That's why we have a parameter over here. So constant result is equal to await access dot get. This is my URL. Now, if you see the URL, this ID is static, right? Now we just need to make it dynamic. So after that concatenation plus and the ID, whatever ID you get, that you need to pass it over. Either you can use the concatenation or you can use the template return, but basically it is going to serve the same purpose, right? Then whatever the data you get from this object, that you need to store in the employee object only. So set employee object, this object only you need to store. You don't need to create another object to hold the update data, right? So same variable you can use. And whatever the rate data result dot data, you just need to pass it. And this function now you will call on the edit button. So this is the edit, on click, round bracket, function is there, but we need to pass the employee ID. So item dot, let's check the property emp id, right? So that's why I make sure like every time, whenever you are trying to get the field name, always check the response and then use. Okay, employee ID. Now let's check if we click on edit, we are getting the proper data. And once we click on the edit also, again, we need to change the UI of the form. We need to show the form UI, right? So in this function, we just need to call, where is that? Change view. This function we have to call once we get the data. Let's save and check it now. So if let's see the network tab also, if we are passing the employee ID correct or not. Always when you are in the development mode now, always keep your network tab open. So whatever the data you are passing, whatever the data you receive, that you should analyze. Let's try to click the Chetan record. On click of edit, you see API is success. See, by ID is also going. In preview, we are getting the data also, but somewhere we have not done correcting. Set employee object. Why it is okay? No, this is correct only. And result.data we are passing. Where it is breaking, cannot read properties of reading map. Where it is trying to reading the map. What we have did is on click of edit, we have just called the data and that we have assigned to our object. Set employee object is nothing but the method of this object, right? And map is over here. Okay. So now you can see one more mistake is there. So when we created the object, right, it was having everything with the capital. If you see, when we have created object, everything is capital. But if you check the get API, we are getting the properties name with the small letter. So that is the issue with my API. So let me just change everything to small. That's why it is code breaking on the employee relatives because it is in the small, but we had that in the capital. Now, since we have changed it over here in the form also, we have to change it because here also it was capital. Name, contact, email, city, state, pin code, and the designation. Right, let's save it and check it. Now we should be able to see the proper data. Right, let's click on Chetan. Again, it is giving the error. Why it is giving the error? Employee mock relatives is there, no? Same property is there or not? Yes. Okay. So now on the for loop, we have forgot. Here it is not capital, small only. Now it should work. So when you are implementing, try to make it small everything. Let's edit Aditya. So now you can see API call is success, but somewhere I think code is breaking. Cannot read properties of map. Again, it is breaking. Let's check the line number. Mock EMP relatives. Why it is saying capital? Let's reload one more time. Let's click on edit. Still we have the issue. Invalid property for. Where it is for? Let's check for where we have the for. Okay, for it's okay. Let's remove this also, but it should not throw the error. Okay, so data we have got, but value property we have not binded. That's why it is not visible. So to all the form, we just have to bind the value form of value also. So that only once we have the data in the object, then only it will be visible, right? So one more thing, employee object and the respective form, respective fields you have to bind to the value of each field. Name, just like that. Let me just copy paste. Encode and the designation. Then pin code, state, city, email, and contact number. Now, once we click on the edit, data will be visible inside the form. Let's check it one more time. Let's go to the list view. Let's click on the edit. Now you can see data is visible. And here also you can see two records are there because in the get employee, we might have received the two employees, but data is not visible because you can see all the properties are again in the small case. And here we might have in the capital. So let's just do that. So everywhere you just make it small only, right? Let's change this also. NRHER. And same in the form also. We have forms for relative also. So there also we can change relation and the age. Let's save and check. Now everything will work fine. So now if we click on the edit, you can see the employee form and the its relatives are also visible, right? So when we created Aditya, he was having just two family member, right? Let's check the mobile number little bit with 1111222222, right? And let's add one more, what do we say, relative. Let's say his brother. Let's say 43. Add. Oh my God. Again, we face the error. Let's see why is it so? Because when we push on click of add, we are getting the error, right? So here also again, we need to make it in a small case. Here also, right? So when you start this video, now everything you should make first letter, everything you should make it in a small case only. I will try to change the API, but I don't think it will take some time. So you could take care of it, right? Let's add one more record. Brother, let's enter his age, add. Now let's change the mobile number. Right now on, okay. If we are in the edit mode, if you check the Swagger for update, we might have another API. So this you can see for update, we have another API. Now, if we are in the edit mode, we should not see this save button. We should see the update, right? So for that, you can just again make that save button dynamic. How you can do that? Means with employee object dot emp id. If emp id is 0 equal to 0, then we have to show the save button, right? But let's just copy this. But if emp id is not equal to 0, then we have to show the update button. Right? Instead of some, let's make it secondary. And here also update emp function we have to call. Let's create this function. So just like the create employee, we are going to have a update also. Right? Same thing is going to be there. Just API call is going to change. Instead of create employee, it will be update employee. Same object you need to send. Let's copy, let's paste, just the URL we need to change. That's it. Employee creation, update, success. Right? After update also, we need to get all employees so that updated record will be visible over there. Now let's check the whole thing. And this function we already called on that update button. Let's check one more time. Button is not visible. Why? Let's check one more time. emp id equal to 0 and not equal to 0. Only two conditions are there. Let's check now. Why button is not visible? Are we not getting employee ID? Yeah, we are getting employee ID. emp ID. Okay, no. emp ID. Same thing we have used. If equal to 0, we are showing the save button. If this is not equal to 0, then we are showing the update button. Straightforward code is there. Let's check one more time. Strange. Previous object dot mock employee relative is not iteratable. Where it is coming? Again, it is not saved. We don't have anything where it is capital. Let's reload one more time. I think is it the catch code, it is still rendering. Let's check edit. Why the button is not visible? Let's try to print whatever we are getting in the employee ID. So this employee object dot employee ID, let's try to print. So currently it is visible. It is not equal to 0. No? Why still this div is not visible? Employee FG, not employee ID, not equal to 0. Because it is 12, so it should render the update button. But why it is not rendering? This bracket got closed over here. Let's check the normal flow. Save employee is visible. See, if employee ID is 0, this button is visible. Let's check the edit mode. But if it is not equal to 0, why it is not rendering? Employee object or employee ID. Let me just check. Okay, so the problem button was there, just the class name was incorrect. Let me just check it now. Right, so it is visible now. Now, let's just close this. Now on click of update, we just need to make the API call, a function we have already done, right? So let's just add 11111122. Let's just add one more. Let's open. So the RAM record we are modifying. Mobile number just we have changed. So on click of update, You can see update employee is done. API call is also success. Then we have called the get employee. If we go back, RAM, so you can see the mobile number is updated. Let's try to open it again. Now you can see we have the latest record we have had, that is also visible. Now the only part is remaining is delete. So delete is also straightforward. Let's check the API. So delete employee by ID. Delete API is the get only. So we just need to pass the ID which we want to delete. So let's get the URL. So this is going to be my URL. Let's copy. So just like that, we need to create the function also. So I will just copy this function to save the time. And the URL is this I have to use. It is a get method. So let's make it get. We don't need the object. And this ID will be dynamic. So plus ID. Here we will have the ID. This will be delete emp. Let's call this function on the delete button. And we need to pass the employee ID just like the edit one. So let's copy, let's post it over here. Now, if we click on the delete button, suddenly API call is going to change. But we just need to ask one more time, are you sure want to delete or not? So for that, we can show the confirm box. Right, so here, let's create is delete variable, confirm. And we need to show the message. Are you sure want to delete? And this variable we have to use over here. If in case of confirm, we get OK on the cancel button. So that's the check we need to add. If it is true, then only we will make the API call. Let's check. Unexpected use of confirm. Okay, so windows.confirm, I think we have to use. Let's check now. Yeah, so if we click on delete, again, is it small one? Let's try with the small one now. So now you can see the confirm pop-up is visible. If I click on cancel, you can see no API call is made. Let's try again. See, no API call is there. But if I click on delete and click on OK, now you can see employee deleted success message is there and employee got also removed. Let's try one more time. Right? So now you can see records are getting deleted. So we have completed the basic CRUD, but just with a single with multiple entity. Right? So I hope this video finds you helpful. Let me just revise one more time. So in case of single with multiple, what you need to create only two objects. First is the parent, then with the repetitive one, right? Means the child object, right? Then you need to create design like this. This is your parent object and this is going to be multiple. On click of add, you need to push the object into this main object property, right? Now on click of edit and everything, the basic remains the same. Just on click of add, you just need to push the element. So that is the code like this, because right. So here you need to push the relative object to the mock employee relative, whatever the property you have. So just like that, we have completed the basic CRUD with single with multiple scenario.